Extremist movie debate. Extremist movie debate. Extremist movie debate.
The Extremist movie debate. And tonight, we're talking Ghost in the Shell from 2017.
I'm unpaid intern Jeff.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it.
Let the coin decide their fate.
I hate it.
I love it. Hey guys, don't send an invisible robot lady to kill us. Spoilers are ahead.
All right, Jeff, since you love this movie and it currently holds a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Deserves a
let's get into
84.
this. David Sims of The Atlantic says, a flimsy copy of a copy, one that recreates some of the anime's set pieces, nearly shot for shot, but then pares away nearly everything else that made the original a classic. So, is it even possible to take a universally praised source material and recreate it to its original integrity to try and catch lightning in a bottle twice? Or do the filmmakers need to add and change the remake to give it a fresh chance in our world? Basically, who are they responsible to? The core audience or any potential new audience members? You have 1 minute.
I believe that they're responsible to both. You can take an original idea. I mean, we can look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and what they did is they took the source material and they did some callbacks to the original series, and then they spruced it up a bit and kind of made it for the masses, which is exactly what you need to do in these scenarios. You need to take the original idea, have, the stuff that people loved about the original, but then add to it, which this movie did. Scarlett Johansson was great. Everybody was great. It was intriguing. It was enthralling. It kept me interested the moment it started. She has like a cool robot suit, and there's drama, there's passion. You can see everybody in this movie giving it their all. And yeah, I watched the original series, so there was callbacks, like the arm ripping was awesome. And then they just added to it, like this guy said.
All right, thank you. Ethan, you have 30 seconds.
Nobody was really stand out in this. Scarlett Johansson just had to kind of stare blankly for most of the movie, which is fine because that's what the original person did, but don't give people credit for acting well in this, besides the fact that she's white and this part should have been for an Asian person. I'll just say that right out front. Matter. But yeah, you can totally take an original thing and you can elevate it. However, this movie takes it shot for shot, does a remake, but actually has the words of the original, but all of the intended effect that it'll have on you emotionally is completely devoid in this movie, and that's why this movie fails so miserably. Is it's all of the
Thank you,
aesthetics,
Ethan. That is your 30
heart.
seconds. Jeff, you have a 15.
Why does she have to be Asian? This is a future where there's a lot of diversity in the people in the environment. So why does she have to be Asian? She could have been any race, and it still would have worked.
Thank you, Ethan. You have a final 15.
You really want to talk about the diversity in this movie?
Yeah.
How about how every character with a minor speaking role is Asian, how everything in this movie is Japanese, except for the characters with strong speaking roles. They're white. I don't know why. Oh, wait, no, there's one black guy who has like 2 lines, who has a Japanese name.
Ethan, we're going to go ahead and move on.
Racist.
Ethan.
Yeah, man.
Stephanie Zacharek of Time Magazine says, the genius of Ghost in the Shell is that you don't have to care about Cyborg anything to enjoy it. In fact, you'll probably enjoy it more that way. I want to know who you think the filmmaker should feel responsible for. Again, kind of along the same lines. Basically, what do you think the ideal balance is? Who should these people be making the movie for when you have like a high sci-fi fantasy movie like this?
To that reviewer,
how much time does Ethan have?
Ethan, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, that's enough. What on earth is the purpose of this movie if not to understand that dichotomy between human and cyborg? It's everything, like, we've watched countless movies dive into this. We've played countless video games. I mean, this movie is essentially just Deus Ex, the movie. And to understand, like, what makes a human, what makes a soul valid inside of a human, like, that is what this movie needs to explore. That's what the anime version explored. This movie, however, presents that as an, oh, look, this is a human brain inside of a robot body. The end. So essentially, it's like the RoboCop remake. All of what made the original RoboCop actually holds some sort of potency is completely gone in the remake of RoboCop, just like this one. just like this movie, it has nothing to add to the conversation whatsoever, and it doesn't even emulate what the original had to add to the conversation. It just has effects and a world that it built with CG, which is fine. It gets the aesthetics of anime. Beyond that, there is nothing to pull
Thank you,
through
Ethan.
the-
I
what
will
felt
go ahead
like
and
8
stop
hours
you
of
there.
this
quiet,
movie.
I'm
quiet.
going to go ahead and stop you there and just go ahead and get out in front and disagree with you about the remake of RoboCop. I like that movie quite a bit. Jeff, you have 30 seconds.
This movie totally does explore like that line between what makes like a person and like what makes you have a soul and what a soul is and why they're just robots. Like the moment Scarlett Johansson found out that she was lied to by the people who are running this program, it's just totally like, oh, like, so who am I? What am I? Why am I here? And isn't that what we're all just kind of doing this day and age? Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like you just fell asleep in the first 4 minutes.
She finds out that she's a person.
Ethan, thank you very much. Hold on, I want to follow Jeff up on a question. The reviewer was actually talking about how you didn't need to have any sort of grasp on cyborg anything and how you could still enjoy it. So I will give you 15 seconds to go ahead and try to expand on why that's a positive for this movie.
we're
No,
talking
it's
about?
for you, Jeff.
Oh,
Because
why we don't need to?
Yeah, what? Because you don't actually have to care about cyborg anything, therefore you don't necessarily need to care about the science of it. Why does this movie still work? You have 15 seconds to answer that question in the positive.
Oh, because then we can just turn it into any like total action movie because this movie is pure action with a little bit of emotion mixed in. She's a cool cop running around, shooting people, getting the bad guys, getting shit done.
Thank you. And Ethan, I'm going to give you 30 seconds as a rebuttal to all of that.
Thanks, Gwen Heifel. So, she's not really a cop in this. She's
Who's
not
Gwen
really
Heifel?
killing. She's dead. Have some respect. She's not really a cop in this. She's not really getting the bad guys because we find out most of the bad guys are on her own team. Look
Her
at
name's
Paul
the Major.
Ryan. Her name is the Major, yes. Her name is also Motoko Kusanagi, something like that. Well, basically what we go back to our original point here is we talk about how this is actually just a brain inside of a body. This has nothing to do with her soul whatsoever. It has nothing to do with her finding out her soul. If she
Thank you, Ethan.
finds out that she was betrayed, she was given false
Ethan,
memories.
Shut
I
up.
appreciate the
Jesus
rebuttal.
Christ.
And now we are going to open the floor
do is
for
yell over
4
people.
minutes.
Sorry, Joe.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what constitutes her actually trying to find her soul in this movie?
The flashbacks, she's wondering about her past, how she got there, why she's there.
And she finds out that she was originally a human, and she was just given false memories. That has nothing to do with her soul at all. That has to do with memory manipulation, which the movie
and
covers
she's trying
with
to-
one
so she's
fleeting
trying to-
line at the end
she's
of
trying to
"My
figure
memories
out
don't make me."
Why does it's
Her actions make
No,
her, but her actions
it
are
calls-
what everybody is telling her to do. So there is
I'm-
no
I'm-
individual
it
character
calls
to her
back,
whatsoever.
It's a callback
to the original.
No, they use a line from Batman Begins. It's not who we are, but what we do that defines us.
But what does
And
she
she's-
do that is of her own volition?
She's trying to make the world a better place by taking out these people.
Following orders?
The orders are for the cause of a greater good, so I don't.
That's
I don't
arguable,
think you
because,
understand
again, we
why
find
the
out that
military
their
does what they do.
organization
What the
is pretty
police-
shady.
So you just hate when police do their jobs and do what they're told. You hate when the military does their
perfectly
jobs
fine,
and
but
do
that
what they're
doesn't
told.
make an
Because that's
interesting
essentially what
character.
she's
It doesn't
doing.
make an inter-
She's interesting.
Essentially,
because
she
then
is
she
just-
learns that she was manipulated. I just spit so hard, and she has this conflict because of it. Now she's like, "Am I doing this because it's the right thing, or am I doing it because I'm told it's the right thing?" And isn't it?
But we never see that actually come to pass through the movie. We see her
I mean, you
question that at
kinda
the very
do.
end of the movie,
You
but then the movie ends. So the possible interesting conflict of the film is not actually in the film. It's in the
that
question
whole
left
that
at
whole
the end of
conflict.
the
This
movie.
movie's like 2 hours, and that whole
feels
conflict
like
happens.
20.
It felt like 15 to me. It went by way too quickly, and it's an hour and a half of her, doing what she does, but struggling to understand why, and if she's even okay doing the things she does. She doesn't want to have to go fight this long-haired guy. She likes him. He's a good guy, probably, and
They were friends.
kind
Yeah.
of. They became friends.
She was absolutely willing to hunt him throughout this entire movie, but in the end, she finds out they're the friends, and then she tries to save him. Which in the
no,
original,
she didn't find out they're friends. They became friends. They
No,
came
no,
to a
they
mutual
found out.
understanding.
They were literally friends
They were laying
before
on the
their
ground.
memories were
Her
wiped.
arms ripped off, and she looks at him and she says, You were right all along. I trust you.
Gross. And then he has that
dies.
moment where he tries to merge with her, which is a callback to the original. But in the original, the person laying next to her wasn't her once human friend. It was a completely artificial soul that took AI and created its own sense of being.
I feel like you
and
didn't
then got
watch
put
the
into
original.
another body.
I think you're just kind of making stuff.
Oh, no,
up
no,
as
no.
you
I
go along
100%
now.
watched the original.
I don't.
The original has good. It's good.
It has good.
It has
The
good.
original has good.
It has heart. It has soul. This movie
Yeah,
does
this
not.
movie
This
had
movie
heart and soul.
about souls
This
has
movie
no soul.
is like Huey Lewis in the News. It has heart and soul. She is the heart of the movie. She's the one driving us through. Yes, action. Yes, no love
It
story,
has
which
a lot
is
of
great.
action. Great, no love
No
story.
love story needed.
Except kind of a little bit at the end with the friend.
No, it wasn't love. It was a trust. It was a bond. It was
friendly
a
love.
friendship. It was a predator
It was a
moment.
friendly love.
What?
It was a friendly love.
You love your friends?
Maybe he was friend zoned.
Oh, okay. Let's go into that.
Let's talk about friend zoning.
Let's not, because I would punch you.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
All right. So why do you believe in the friend zone?
Oh, I don't believe in the friend zone. The friend zone is terrible. That's just a way
You're the
to-
one who just literally brought it up.
I was just saying
Why
that that's
are
what this movie did, but the friend zone is just a great way to
So-
say, I think of you in a sexual manner and I'm mad at you because
Oh.
you won't fuck me.
Oh, he got put in the friend zone. The thing I don't believe in. I'm just
I'm
grasping
not
at
saying
straws
that
now,
it-
pal.
No.
You're-
I'm saying that
you're
it's a
just
term that
saying
exists.
shit
I'm
to
not
throw-
saying I agree with it at
Then
all.
why would you bring it up?
Because that's what this movie does, and it does actually have a relationship.
So the movie does a thing that doesn't exist.
Well, this movie tries to emulate a thing
That doesn't exist.
is fabricated.
You literally just okay.
Look, the friend zone is a term. It's something that people use. I think that it's a terrible word to use, and I think that it's a terrible way to describe a situation.
How many times have you been in friend zone, pal?
And thank you.
Never.
Let's go ahead and
quite
cut that
prolific.
off. Before we actually jump into the next segment, I just want to ask Ethan, did you purposefully bring that mug down for this episode?
Of course I did.
'Cause I love it. Hey guys, how'd you actually feel?
This movie is really boring.
This is one of the worst movies I've seen.
I didn't hate it as much as Jeff.
I hated it from the first 5 minutes. I felt like this movie
It wasn't
was like
from the
three-
title cards that
Oh,
were completely unnecessary. This is the future. Hanka has just
This is where robots and humans are fused, and then
and then it opens up on her talking about I am a ghost in a shell.
It's the scientist going, "This is a shell of your body, and your mind is a ghost."
Fuck.
I audibly laughed in the theater.
Now it's moments like that that actually made me go back and watch this movie and think like the original and think, was the dialogue this shitty in the original? No, it was not. This was all added, I guess, to dumb down for an American audience, which is terrible.
Yeah, this movie it's pretty like cut and dry, so I don't know why they needed to explain to the
so
audience.
simple.
I'm like having a hard time not laughing because this movie is so bad. Like, I hated it. I hated the only person I liked was the partner who got the eyes. He was really good the entire movie. His acting was great. Like his commitment was really good. But it seemed like everybody else, there's no pun intended. Everyone else felt so robotic in this movie.
Yeah.
Every line was, "We need to go get him. If we don't get him, this fails." Okay, I'll go do that thing. And then they run into the guy, and it's just, you can't get me because I'm everywhere. And I was like, does nobody give a shit about this movie? Everyone felt like they were there for a paycheck.
That was another thing that worked so well in the original is she was the standout one. Everybody else was, mostly human or only had little augmentations to themselves, and they were all kind of in awe of her and her roboticism while still being human. Like there were moments where they would react to her doing weird things, and none of that is in this movie at all. Everybody is on the same playing field. She just happens to have more than others.
But
nobody
everybody
cares.
has
And it never
cybernetic
makes
upgrades.
us care. And so then in the end, when you find out, like in the original, the puppet master is, this guy who got put into basically a mannequin. It's this artificial soul put into another body. Like that's interesting because that is somebody that is similar to her. And then they have that conversation on the ground where they're both mangled apart. And that holds the audience. This movie does not have that because we find out, it's just another guy who also got his memories wiped, but he's totally normal too.
Yeah,
and
we don't even-
Also, nobody cares about their augmentations.
Yeah, we
at all.
don't find out even about the guy who was part of this program until like an hour into the movie. So the first hour is literally just Scarlett Johansson running around and just talking to people.
And even so,
It felt like we were watching like a cooler like futuristic Divergent. It was just her going into rooms, going, "What's going on in here, guys?" And then people trying to kill her, and her winning, and then going home, going, "Being a future cop is so hard."
That's fair. And then even once that bad guy is introduced, then it goes into he's no longer the bad guy. It's Paul Ryan is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Paul Ryan is
Paul Ryan
essentially
is in this movie.
just every corporate bad guy clone.
Corporate
from,
bigwig.
He's the guy from RoboCop that gets thrown out the window.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm gonna need to see a picture of this gentleman, please.
Oh,
eventually.
you got it, man.
How would you guys rate the movie?
You can go first.
4, no thunder at all, and that's just because they put a lot of effort into trying to recreate the aesthetics of the original, which they did very well. But it bothered the fuck out of me that it's still all clearly in Japan. Everything's Japanese.
Yeah.
It's not like a Firefly situation where like mankind has evolved to a point where Chinese is now just a part of the language. This is Japan. Everybody is Japanese,
But everyone
except
speaks
for the
English.
major speaking roles. They're all white, so it's like
But I mean,
Such a problem.
I wasn't. There was.
it didn't take you out at all.
I did kind of. There was a little bit more diversity in this movie than I've seen. Like in Her, you don't. It's like futuristic kind of, and you don't see like a single person of color really.
Sure.
And then, but this one there was like the African delegates at the dinner meeting who she had to save. Then there was the Mexican dude working at the bar. There was those two, I guess, but that's still 2 more than Her. So I mean that was okay. But really, I don't. This movie didn't interest me. It didn't like keep me invested in the movie. I did not give a shit. And there was people who at the end of the movie stood up and were just like clapping, going "Bravo!" And I was like, "Why? Like, what did you love about this?" I wanted to ask them what they loved because I just didn't get it. I mean, I guess since I didn't watch the show, this probably movie wasn't made for me anyway. So,
Jeff, stop scratching yourself.
but oh, sorry,
What would you rate it, Jeff?
3. No thunder. I want them to give me thunder.
Well, go ahead and like and subscribe to the video, the channel. Go ahead and request a video in the comments below, or if you horribly disagree with our opinions of
Which
the
you
movie,
probably will.
go ahead and let us
Nerds.
know that too in the comments below. But request a
nerds.
movie, we'll do it in the future. You can also write down a question you want us to do about that movie, and we'll debate that in the future. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
Thanks.